Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. This time, I've seen the last Daily Wire film as of right now. That was Lady Ballers. This is a 2023 sports comedy film directed by Jeremy Boring, and it stars Jeremy Boring, Billy Ray Brandt, Daniel Considine, Tyler Fisher, Jake Crane, Blaine Crane, David Cohn, Lexi Contursi, uh, Rosie Seraphine, and Matt Walsh. In this film, a once great basketball coach is on a journey back to victory by reuniting his former high school championship basketball team, but this time he's challenging them to play like girls. So, what did I think of Lady Ballers? Well, I return back to the controversy train with the Daily Wire because, I mean, even though I don't get like a ton of comments on my videos, I understand that a lot of people don't like What is a Woman, and I agreed on certain things that you could add into What is a Woman, but I can understand why it went so far the way it is because there's so many documentaries on the other side of the spectrum. Here, though, I don't think the controversy is why I don't really care for this film. The controversy being the plot. Because this plot has been done before, and people enjoyed the movies that this plot has been done before with. But let me get to the cast. Jeremy Boring plays Coach Rob Gibson. He used to coach this team that was super big, and now they've kind of broken apart. He tries to get them back together. That old shebang. Jeremy Boring is not somebody on the Daily Wire that I've ever really watched. I only know him because of like Jeremy's Razors and Jeremy's Chocolate. There was the one clip of Michael Knowles laughing during the commercial, which, yeah, gotta check a lot of me. Um, I don't think he does a bad job here acting wise, but I do think his comedic timing is a bit off, as is the comedic timing of most of this movie, and I think that's the main issue I have with it and not the premise. I will talk about the premise, do not worry, but I don't think that's the issue with it. Billy Ray Brandt plays Gwen Wild. She's kind of this reporter that wants him to keep up this whole facade of his like players being women, that whole thing. Um, I didn't mind her. I thought she was funny enough. There were multiple times where something insane happened with her that actually did get a laugh out of me. And I will admit that this film made me laugh a few times. I can at least admit that. And I liked that her character was kind of just out there, insane, and all that. Daniel Considine plays Alex Cruz. He's one of the first guys to be a part of this group or to like come back into the fold. I liked him in this. I think he acted quite well. There were some moments of drama that with him that I thought worked well. He had a couple comedic bits, even if he does overdo the comedy a little bit at times. Tyler Fisher plays Felix Van Wyck. He's basically their towel boy. He's fine too. I think he understands what movie he's in. Jake Crane plays himself. This is one of the Daily Wire's hosts. Jake and Blaine are brothers. I think they host their own show. I don't really know. I don't keep up with the Daily Wire's news. They were both fine. They worked. Their comedic timing is still a bit off though. David Cohn plays himself. He's fine. I'm not sure who this guy is. He reminded me of the guy from what's his name? Shit, I have to look it up because if I don't, it's gonna like be stuck in my head. Uh, uh, Kevin Durand. He reminded me of Kevin Durand a lot. He really looks like him, but he was fine. Lexi Contursi plays Darby Gibson, the ex-wife of our main character. She's fine. Same with Rosie Seraphine as Winnie Gibson, his daughter. She's fine. Um, Matt Walsh plays Chris Dilby, who is like this super woke boyfriend or like new husband of Darby. Um, he's fine, but that's about all the character has. They don't really make fun of anything. He just kind of is that, and it's like you should have gone a bit further with that. I think that's one thing I can say to this movie is it just kind of feels like it's laying things out there and not particularly poking fun at anything. It's just kind of like, oh, this is happening. Laugh. Like, for instance, there's this bit later on where they make fun of Dylan Mulvaney, which, to be honest, I can understand that Dylan Mulvaney is not somebody that rubs me the right way in any way, shape, or form. With where Tyler Fisher's character Felix um does like stuff like how Dylan does the whole like day whatever being a woman and then says day whatever being a trans athlete. And it doesn't really come off as a joke. It just comes off as, "Oh, remember this?" The comedy in this reminded me of the disaster movie type movies, like disaster movie, epic movie, date movie. I will say it's not as bad as those because there are legitimately jokes that made me laugh. And this didn't result to gross out comedy, which I can 100% give it credit for. But again, my main issue is that it doesn't really like take anything to the extreme at many points. The most extreme it gets is the bit at the end where our group of lady ballers is against this group of or is against a female team of just big black dudes and they don't like there's only one of them that's wearing a wig. I will admit that made me laugh because I was like, "Okay, that's how you do this ridiculously." And okay, before I go any further, I will say, yes, there were like one or two things that I was like, okay, that maybe just keep that out. The premise of this film has been done before and no one had a fucking problem with it. It's a film called Juana Man with Miguel A. Nunez Jr., Vivica A. Fox. People did not have this issue of transphobia with it. But now, because it's released by the Daily Wire, yes, I am pulling that card. If this was released by any other company, if this was released by, say, a company with left-leaning politics, there would not be nearly the controversy there is with this. And a lot of that controversy, 100% has to do with a lot of the Daily Wire people being in this film. You have Candace Owens, you have Matt Walsh, you have Jeremy Boring, you have Ben Shapiro, you have Andrew Klavan, you have Jordan Peterson. Uh, who else? Well, you have the two actors that are in the movie, Jake and Blaine Crane. Like, when you have something like that, of course, there's going to be people that hate it for that reason. But to be honest, this film isn't that offensive. Like, I was expecting more biting commentary on like trans women in women's sports. I was expecting more commentary and like joking about it in a way that could be like offensive but also funny. And a lot of what I got in this film was just, oh, this happens. Oh, this happens. Laugh. And yes, stuff can be funny if it happens in real life, but the way it's delivered here is as if they made a joke, but it's more just, oh, look, it's guys wearing wigs. And the physical comedy could have worked of like the guys just like absolutely destroying the women in the sports, but it just doesn't. I don't think Jeremy Boring as a director has the comedic timing. And I'm not even saying that just because Jeremy Boring doesn't work really in film. He has written like a very well received film in Spiral. He co-wrote the film Spiral from 2007, directed by Joel David Moore and Adam Green, starring Joel David Moore, Zachary Levi, Amber Tamblyn. That is a well-received psychological thriller. So it's not because he doesn't have talent. Maybe he should have written it. I don't know. Again, directing, producing, and starring in a film is a lot of work. And I will say maybe that was a bad choice. Maybe he should have just acted in it and gotten somebody else to direct it, like how Michael Polish directed Terror on the Prairie. Like outsource the directing to someone else. Um, but one thing I can give credit for with this film, it doesn't look bad. It's not like it's shot like a 2003 like direct-to-video action movie where every shot is like very bad handheld or shaky cam and it's not cutting every half a second. I will at least give it that. It is not one of the best shot films from Daily Wire though. I will say I think either Run Hide Fight or um Shut In are the best shot films from Daily Wire at this point, but like what this film is really missing is more just a satire, more of a satire angle. Because you have so many characters that are there just to be like, "Oh, look, it's Candace Owens. Oh, it's Ben Shapiro plays a referee at one point and calls somebody a transphobic motherfucker." Uh, you have Matt Walsh playing like a Greenpeace like hippie character, which I was like, okay, that could be funny, but they don't do enough with his character. The most they have is like he's like, I give this ball of energy to you, or something like that. And it reminded me of something. There's a movie that did something like that. Oh, what did I see that? Oh yeah, in Crestview Academy, in Bad Kids of Crestview Academy, there's the one character that says, I give this ball of energy to you." That the way that was delivered in that film so seriously, and then the character like grabs it and she's like, "Thanks." I thought that was funny. In this film, they try to do something like that where he goes like this, and then you're supposed to like grab his hands because you're transferring energy or something. I don't know, something about it just feels so awkward and like it doesn't exactly line up with I know what they're trying to do. And I think what they're trying to do could be very funny. Let me get that out of the way. I think this premise has a lot of has a lot of opportunities to be funny. I believe that anything can be joked about for the most part. The issue of trans women and men in women's sports could be a very interesting issue to make a controversial, biting satire about, where there's you can have a good message as well. It can be funny, and you can have dramatic moments. It should probably be a dramedy, which is kind of what this becomes. But here, I think the main issue is the writing. The writing just isn't that great. There's visual gags that I'm like, this should be funnier. There's like a visual gag when you go to Darby's house for the first time, where you see Matt Walsh's character um sitting on the lawn like meditating, and there's like a sign that says like Black Lives Matter, so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. There's like 50 different things on the signs to the point where they need two signs. And I'm like, this should be funnier, but it just doesn't hit for me. And this is coming from me who I think again, it's a very interesting issue that you could use for a movie like this. You could 100% make a very funny movie about this. There are movies about gender bending that have been hilarious. Mrs. Doubtfire is hilarious and has a good heart to it because Robin Williams knows how to deliver it. Sally Field is a great actress. She's also in it and is funny as well. You have Tootsie with what's his name? Well, you have Tootsie. That's a hilarious movie. Some Like It Hot from the 50s is or maybe 59, 60, something like that, is a very funny gender bending movie that still stands up. I mean, of course, there's going to be that group that's like, oh, if you even try that, that's offensive. That's transphobic. No, no, it's not. Shut up. That's not what I'm talking about. I am saying that this type of humor is nothing new and could be done better. Juwanna Man, from what I remember, was not amazing, but it does have a cult following, which means that there is a group of people that do genuinely like the film, and I remembered enjoying it to an extent. This film needed 100% better writing. I think they should have laid off on the whole, like, casting a bunch of the Daily Wire people. You don't really need that. It's more because that only gives more credence to people who are saying, "The only people who will enjoy this are Daily Wire pundits who are or Daily Wire followers who are told to like everything." There are plenty of people who like Daily Wire that don't like any of their movies. So, stop trying to cope. Like, if you don't like the movie and you find it offensive, fine. I don't fucking care. Like, I've given too much care to things that don't matter in the past. I don't care anymore. What I wanted was a funny comedy, and I really didn't get it. Though I will say, there are exceptions and there are characters that did honestly make me laugh. Um, you have Michael Knowles and um, Brett Cooper, who are also Daily Wire people. Brett Cooper played Stacy Santiago O'Brien, and Michael Knowles plays Drake Diamond. Where like the first thing that they do is they like misgender misgender because our main characters aren't actually trans women; they're just guys in wigs. In the context of the story, they are guys in wigs pretending to be trans. Just so we clear it up. And Stacy and Drake misgender the character, and then they go through sensitivity training. And then next time you see them, they're donned out in like Stacy has like some type of she has like that African like shawl. She has like all of this stuff. She's like doing the Black Power symbol, and Drake is wearing like a ton of like Apache wear or some type of American Indian wear. And I'm sorry, that was funny. I liked those characters and I thought they were actually funny. And I think Brett Cooper and Michael Knowles have at least enough of a handle on acting and comedy because Brett Cooper was an actress before she came to Daily Wire that they understand what to do with this material. They took it to the extreme and made me laugh. That's what more of this film needed to do. And I think also the fact that this movie was kind of like TV-14, PG-13 territory kind of devalues a bit of uh it kind of devalues a lot of what the film's going for because it's supposed to be the most triggering comedy of the year. That's what it says in the trailer. But it really isn't. And I'm not triggered, I hate that word, by anything, but I was like expecting it to be a bit more mean, and I really didn't get that. And there's plenty of people on like Letterbox that are like, "Oh, didn't this character do blackface at one point? Aren't there's only a few racist jokes." There aren't any racist jokes. Uh there's like a bit where a character is like in the forest wearing camo paint on their face and somebody says they're in blackface. Like, are you there are enough things to dislike about this movie without having to invent issues. Like, just watching the movie, there's issues with comedic timing. There are certain actors that don't know really what to do with a scene, so they just kind of go with it. There are jokes that fall very flat, especially around Jeremy Boring. And I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but there are definitely issues there. And like I want I wanted this to be funny. But so far, this is the worst Daily Wire film and the first, like, one I can say was bad. Again, I gave it a 5 out of 10 because this film is well enough made and there were characters and jokes that made me laugh. If a comedy can at least give me a few things, then that gets it a bit far. But that's why I also have a bit of an issue with comedies because there are plenty of comedies that just do not work for me, even though my humor is very varied. But this one, again, I think it needed more. It needed more of a biting satire edge. It needed a better writer, excuse me, and I just wanted it to be better. Also, it's way too long. That's a big thing I can say against this movie. It did not need to be an hour and 52 minutes. An hour and 52 minutes, excuse me. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. But yeah, that's my review of Lady Ballers. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door.